Greetings. Greetings, fellow War Thunder players. I am back to be cringe and nerdy, caring about the game too much. It is time to hopefully finish this today. Finish the first pass, at least. Hello, Quebec. And hello, Sky Saber. Greetings, gentlemen. Daniel, hello. Greetings, elf pirate. Unfortunately, Sky Saber, you were not first. You were close, though. Close. So I did this today before starting the stream. Remade all the helicopter thingies and made a helicopter sheet. This is like not 14.0 yet, but you know, it's there. So we can do that eventually. I already had this little thingy made. Anti-airs only. So this is a thing that I have that exists. It's literally just all the anti-airs. But this is like, we didn't make this together, so this is not the changes that I made. I made this before fucked around with the anti-airs, so things are not as they should be. But it's there, so maybe we can fix that up eventually. It's kind of like, just makes the individual vehicle types way easier to understand, you know? How many helis are in the game total? Or does it? 96. 96 helicopters, including the rare and hidden ones. So that's a thing. And it's Saturday, and we're going to be extremely nerdy. What a beautiful thing. How many fucking ground vehicles are in the game? Oh, that selected like a bunch of the work in progress tag things. But there's 1,000 objects here that I've selected. It's going to be pretty close to the correct number. It's probably 1,000. There's not that many work in progress tags. There's 27 of them, plus or minus a few more. And then I think it's selected this thing too. So yeah, right around 1,000 ground vehicles. Also, hello, Mr. Impulse. I have not really been playing the game very much. I let the login reward thingy just pass over back to day one, because like, dude, it doesn't even give you anything good, so why should I care about keeping it up, you know? Hello, this one guy. Hello. You know, maybe I'll keep this work in progress banner right here, because there's nothing that it's going to block. What we're doing today, we should do the French auto-loading things. Because I didn't touch these at all when we were doing when we were getting down to this BR range. Hello, Techie. What do you guys think about me moving the STA3 Type 61 up to 7.0 from 6.7? I felt like that was a pretty, like, room temperature take. You know, it's like STA3 in particular. I mean, it has crazy optics, a 6-second autoloader, heat FS, M82, decent mobility. I mean, no armor, obviously. You know, 10 degrees gun depression, decent turret traverse rate. It's definitely not a 6.7 vehicle. But anyways, France. France. I do agree. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that the Samoa should be 8.0 in the main game right now anyways. Huh. AMX-13 hot. Isn't this thing 8.3 in the game currently? I'll probably just leave it up at 8.3. It does have ATGMs, but they're really not useful. Really not useful. ALF 1 being on par with 2S19 M1, I guess makes sense. It's got good mobility. Is auto-loaded 90mm 2OP at 7.7. I mean, that's what Gaijin seems to think. Speak of the thingy. Get reward, don't care, bye. Test drive expired. Cool. This lineup is like not made for, yeah, Char 25T, 4-second reload, M82, 209 mils a pen. Decent mobility. Also, the survivability is quite good because of the front-mounted engine, if people choose to shoot your hull. 65 speed, 500 horsepower, 25 tons. Not the craziest horsepower to weight ratio. Slow vertical, quick horizontal, actually very quick horizontal. Fixed 8x zoom, 6 commander fire control, 12 rounds in the first stage, 6 degrees gun depression. You know what I've always wondered about is these rounds right here. I'm like, shouldn't this guy just like bump them over with his fucking shoulder, load them in? Like, seems pretty fast to me. And I've always been confused about this autoloader module. I'm like, how in the Sam Hill does this thing get a shell into the breach in 4 seconds, unless it goes straight from below, which doesn't look like it does. Unless the model is just completely wrong. And then there's like the somewhere. And it has like this little lever mechanism here. Like, what is all this all about, you know? This just doesn't make any sense. Either way, Samoa definitely needs to be 8.0. That's like a given. But then there's these thingies. These objects in question. AMX 1390 with heat. 5-second reload. 1963 can go up, really? You guys think? To 8.0. Doesn't it have a rather slow reload? Or slow compared to the other EBR with the autoloader. It is quite a ratty vehicle, and it's very survivable. Hello, Mr. Odin. I feel like the Service could go up as well. Might be a hot take, though. Might be a bit warm. Dirty D's, you think Samoa can keep going up? Leopard 1, Centurion Mark 10, ZTZ 59A. M60s, Shaka Aleph. Is it really on par with those? Stridsvagn 101. Could maybe put it up and have a work in progress tag on it. Because if it goes to 8-3, then what's it going to fight? It already fights that. It already fights that. Already fights that. Already fights those. It already fights all of this stuff. And then at 8.0, it fights M46, C13 T90, STA3, T44 100, Panther 2, M46, T92. It should not be fighting stabilized LRF stuff. True. But it wouldn't. The only stabilized laser rangefinder thing at 9.3, if it goes up to 8.3 in this scenario, is going to be the Swedish thing, its own AMX-30s, and the Clovis in Germany and the M60 Starship. So that's honestly like not the craziest move ever. Trifon, I should. The answer is I should, but will I? I don't know. I could honestly see the Samoa going up. Because, again, we're not done doing 7.0, so there might be a whole lot of 7.0 things that end up being T55 AM1 9.0. It's at 10.0, brother. Vickers Work 193 UI, because it has good mobility, full stabilizer, 5-second reload. I mean, it has better mobility than the M60A1 AOS. You know, the armor is like kind of trolly. But yeah, Infamous, on the past 2 streams, we, you know, came through this whole thing, had lots of discussions and reasoning behind each chain. We also got the Vijayanta up here at 9.7, along with everything else that is at 8.3 already in the game. So currently on the live server, Vickers Mark III, Vijayanta, Oliphant, ZT3 are the same BR, and the Chieftains are 1 BR higher, 8.7. Yeah, the mobility is not the best, but it is good. I actually had a really fun time with the Vickers Mark I and the Vijayanta. Just that, like, the 5-second reload, decent turret traverse. Vertical shit, obviously, but, you know. The Rapier, yeah, Rapier is very sad. That's why I kept it at 10.0 instead of moving it anywhere. And you got to remember that this is a huge decompressed environment now. So things being farther away than each other than they used to be is nothing to be alarmed about. And no, Infrared, you are in luck, my friend. We are just getting started with the French. And yeah, Shizwiz. Affinity Designer is such an excellent program. Love this. Love this thing. AMX 50, 930. Infamous. We're not really talking about 14.0 right now, but it's been the same since the first stream. Once we go all the way down through the game, get to the bottom of it, and then, you know, feel like we're finished with the first pass, then we'll go back to the top, come back down again. Mainly addressing a lot of these work in progress tags to see how we feel about them. .930 and Lorraine 40T should be at the same BR? Probably. Like, why did Gaijin think that 930 should be higher? Let's just check. So, Lorraine 40T is 8 rounds total for the first stage, including the one in the breach. Obviously, hey, we have the very good 273 Penning 100mm, no APHE filler, 8 degrees of gun depression with insane mobility, 59 forwards, 24 in reverse, 3 crew. The armor is obviously pretty limited. And the 930, 4-second reload, 13 total ready-to-fire rounds out of the gate, with a lower pen but APHE with M82. And it has 1,000 horsepower, 46 tons. Similar mobility, slightly slower. Also an additional crew member. 7.9 times fixed optic. Lorraine, 6 times. No commander fire control. I mean, to be fair, the vehicles are very different. You guys following me here? The only real benefit of the Lorraine is the 8 degrees of gun depression and the higher pen, but no filler. And then the 930 has... what was it? It also has better turret traverse speed horizontally by a significant amount. This one's 30 aced and this one's 36 aced. The vertical 4 aced. This one has a higher vertical speed. I don't know. Maybe they really are on the same level for different reasons. You know, there's trade-offs and pros and cons, etc. But in that case, obviously, I think we would just bring the Lorraine up, because the goal here is decompression. So with the Lorraine at 7.7, it faces a bunch of shit at 6.7, where it basically has like a twice as fast reload as everything else. What's the 930 facing in the decompressed list? 9.0. We got Magash 5. Toebox, Vidar, Mars 15, 69-2A, 59D1, T10M, M48, TOW 55. Yeah, Infrared, that's what I'm like getting at too. It's like having more rounds available for a 4-second autoloader is like a crazy bonus. IS-7 below T10. I mean, yeah, the IS-7 is kind of like a piece of shit, really. It's unstabilized and it's got, you know, no APDS. We can talk about that again another time, for sure. But I think Lorraine, 7 rounds is, like, pretty crazy for it. Char 25T has the same autoloader, I believe, as the 930, same turret. What about the Samwa? Because the Samwa is just these things, but with way more armor. all the same BR in your opinion? I don't know. I think the Char 25T could reasonably stay with these, especially with like the 9.0 scary vehicles that used to be at 9.0, like the Object 279, no longer there. T55 AMD1 is at 10.0 now. It doesn't have to face that. ZTZ 88B, OF40 Mark IIA doesn't have to face those anymore. So you guys see what I'm getting at? These can reasonably stay here now. I mean, probably like a lot of these. They might even all go up to 8.0. I don't know, though. They're no longer facing nightmare vehicles in full up tiers. Right now, they don't even have to face the M60 AOS. The Char's round is worse because short barrel. We got M82 209 mils a pen. And then we got M82 209 mils a pen. They have the same barrel for the 930 on the Char. The Char has better mobility. And it's a light tank, so it has scouting, too. And it has the front engine survivability. I think the big chonkers. And then what about the AMX-50 TOA 100? Isn't that basically like a slightly equivalent Lorraine, although slightly slower? TOA 100. It's going to have the 7-round first stage, 8 degrees of gun depression, 1,000 horsepower, 48 tons. So this has 850 horsepower, 39 tons, 1,048 tons. The Lorraine really, the only thing the Lorraine really has going for it at this point is the higher top and reverse speed. And slightly better armor. And no commander fire control either. Optics, probably the same. 6 times fixed. It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. They should probably all be the same BR. They aren't facing, the nightmare stuff anymore. So, Sommois, basically everything, same BR. Sir Blind. Let's get this all organized. I typically like to put the tech tree vehicles first. Holy stacked BR Batman. RIP France 77, yes. However, France 77 is very strong. There's got to be one of these vehicles that might deserve to be higher. And then some people were saying that the EBR 63 could go up, and then there's also the 1390, which does have, a 4-second, or is it 5-second? It's probably 5-second autoloading heat FS. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, let me fix all this shit up. organize it so it doesn't look like booty cheeks. Yes, Brooksy, we are back at it. Yeah, I don't think the AMX 13s are sad at all. They're very good. Very good things. Somewhat. There we go. Everything is organized as it should be. That's what I was thinking too, Angel. And then Fosh. Fosh could probably go up, yeah. I was thinking that too. Sky Saber, I don't know when I'm gonna or if I will stream the long drive again. Maybe wait for some updates. I really could see this going up here with everything else too, to be honest. It's definitely not a crazy take, but it is now a crazy stacked BR. You know, what if I just put a whole ass, like... So one of these has to be... There we go. Work in progress on the whole thing. I don't know. I feel like one of them has to be better than the rest. But we can discuss that another time. Yeah, the ALF one. So I got the ALF one up there because we got the 2S19 M2 at 8.3 with the 6-second reload. Type 99 is there as well. And then below it is the 2S19 M1, which has a 7.5 second autoloader, and the ALF one also has that. So I felt like that made sense to put them at the same BR, but then again, 2S19 M1 does have a roof machine gun, which ALF 1 does not. ALF 1 is, you know, AMX 30 mobility, which is very good. The BR is just that stacked, but it's okay. We have another stacked BR, but it's a lot of premium vehicles. ALF 1 has worse HE. That is fair. ALF 1 is a 50 cal? Ain't no way. Oh, it has a little machine gun. Is it really a 50? Oh. Well then. If anything, though, I feel like the AMX 30 hull, like the chassis in general, is more bouncy than the 2S19 T72 hull. So that's a factor. And it does have a worse HE, the letter said. So fair enough there. And 2S19 is probably more survivable due to all the modules, but then, you know, if the ALF 1 got its modules, maybe that would be not the case. Okay. At one point, I did have the hoe reproduction moved up to 7.7 here. I felt like that was, like, pretty valid, but there was someone that really questioned it. What do you guys think about hoe reproduction? Now it would face DF-105, T95E1, Bradley, OF-40, DF-105, Strizvong 103A, toe boxes, M41D, Panzer 2000. But at 7.3, it would face a whole bunch of shit with like 90 millimeters, 88s, some with heat, 122s. I just feel like it's a pretty bully vehicle. AMX-13 hot is so high. I know, it's kind of just a byproduct of the missiles that it has. This is the same, like, BR that it is currently in the game. You gotta remember that. It's 8.3. Regular AMX-13, I was considering moving it up to 7.0 because, like, It is really good, and at that point, the 1954 could go higher. Like, I don't think the AMX-13 matches with 6.7, but maybe I'm just crazy. Doesn't need to be missiled by Bradleys, yeah. Which is nice because the Ho reproduction currently is 7.3 in the game and the Bradley is 8.3. And now with the Bradley at 8.7, it avoids that. Hello, Mr. Suckler. Hello. Also, hi, Crazy Cont. Welcome. Yeah, I can see Ho reproduction being valid, 7.3. Hello, Dubious. Isn't there something about the AMX-13 being able to get a better shell than it has right now? I don't know. J-Boy, greetings. I mean, doesn't the AMX-13 have one of the shells of all time? Now let's see what it has. 202 millimeters of pen. 5-second reload. Oddly survivable chassis if you don't shoot in the right place because of the front-mounted engine. It is small, compact, can be easily killed. Of course, has a slow reverse gear. What does that say? 246 horsepower, not spaded, so probably around 300 horsepower. 15 tons. I feel like this is like solidly better than most other 6.7s, and it's also a light tank. Werner, I can go check where I put that. If you just give me a second. Ariete P is probably at the same BR as other vehicles that it's with in current live server, i.e. 2A4, Vickers Mark 7, yeah. They're all pretty much equivalent. 2A4, Vickers T80B M1, Ariete P. It has no armor, it has good mobility, good optics, good turret rotation, of course, DM33, so I feel like it makes sense. M51, yeah, Rubio, I was tempted to move the M51s to 6.3, but then I looked up here, and I was like, T32, IS3, Conway, Ho reproduction. Not really sure, but, you know. I do feel like they're better than other 6.0s. 4,000 mils a pen. And then there's also the HE slingers, which, let's see, type 75 SPH, is it already 6.3 in the game? M109 is 6.3, and so I felt, what do you guys think about just moving all the HE slingers up just one? And there's also M44s. We put the M44s at 4.7. And is that, it's all the HE slinger things, right? They should all be the same BR though. Right, isn't it just like an extremely minuscule difference minor spelling mistake in velocity. Richev, long barrel, proxy fuse, 684 meters per second. M109, proxy fuse, 562. So it is an over 100 meters per second velocity gain. 56, 11.8, and they're probably the same mobility and all that stuff, right? The weight isn't even different. Dude, the Richev, however, what is with the Richev? It's got a fucking barrel-mounted 50 cal. Did the other? Hold up here. I swear these things don't have a 50 cal, and it does. Okay, they have 50 cals. Okay. German M109G faster reload. I don't even have it in that lineup because I hate high explosive slingers. 13.3 aced. I haven't even crewed the thing. It's okay, I have 8 million. $13.3 aced. 13.3 aced, 13.3 aced. No. M109G has smoke grenades, though, but it lacks the 50 cal. You know, I usually club these vehicles. Part of me feels like a lot of people would be happier if they went up at least one BR step. M109G has the normal velocity. It does have 684. Wow, Gaijin, good job with your consistent game mechanics and you know, all the great stuff that you do. All the great work that you do, Gaijin. It's just, we appreciate it so much that you actually develop your game, and this one has the long barrel velocity too. Can we all just give a hearty go fuck yourself to this company? Like, excuse me? They can't even manage to copy and paste correctly. Dude. And then this one has this, okay, I just don't even know what. Yet another reason why Gaijin should take the room temperature challenge. I have no words. No words. Absolutely incredible. Amazing. Okay. Anyways. Wow. That's awesome. Well done. Excellent. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't even understand. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do that. We're the ones that make the rules here. Let's just go with that. You know, I'm gonna keep the long barrel ones. God, this 6.7 up here is so scuffed. Keep the long barrel ones at 6.7 and the short barrel ones at 6.3. Just, you know, pretending that Gaijin knows how to make a game. SPH. Is this thing 6.3 in the game right now? Yes, infrared. We did move the M44s. But I don't really think there's anything else too crazy. Other than the low tier shit like the Trumpet of Doom. M109G. We're just gonna pretend that those things. Let me take a look here. Type 75 SPH. Does it have a better reload? It was already 6.3. Yes, it has a 10-second autoloader. I would say the reload advantage on the Type 75 SPH definitely means it could be a higher BR than the short barrel M109 at least. Because that reload is such a huge advantage. It might even be viable for 7.0, but then it would face shit like mouse. So there's that. The 7.0 is now the BR where you face the mouse and shit like that. Fully stabilized type shit. The lowest BR fully stabilized vehicle is the FE4202 currently, it seems. Well, fully stabilized with a gun that does something. Yes, Eric, I am dedicated to demonstrating that it's possible to fix the game. Really, that's the whole point of this, is demonstrating that it can be done. Rubio, the T10M is at 9.0 right now, and the AM1, which I heard you mention, they're at 10.0. Yes, Centurion Mark II. Oh, you're right. There it is. It has a 17-pounder, though. I'm not going to lie, like, I wanted to move it higher, but then it would be facing M60, Leopard 1, Centurion Mark 10. No, that's its own vehicle. Striesvang 101, Shotcall Aleph. I feel like that's a little unfair for the Cent Mark II, even though it is fully stabilized with a good reload, workable mobility. Like, at 6.7, it was, like, obviously too strong. I think that's clear to most people. LGS got moved up. Su-122-54 got moved up. Object 268. Do we think Object 268 could go up? At that point, I would also move the 122-54 if it did, because, I mean, personally for me, the 122-54 is better. The round selection is crazy. It wouldn't even really face things that it hasn't faced before. So that's like totally room temperature. If anyone disagrees, let me know. Because like with the 268 at 7.0, then you face like things with 90 millimeters and shit like that. And it's just kind of like, brr. Well, they're better than the Yag Tiger because they have better mobility by far, actually. And they have a usable like 14.5 millimeter machine gun, which is like crazy. And Su-122-54 has APDS. Yeah, Rubio, it is fucking wild in 6.7. They really aren't on par with an IS-3, though. I mean, I would personally prefer to be in a 122-54 than an IS-3. Dubious, the M103 has not moved. It's at 7.7 still. But, you know, bear in mind that the current new 8.7 that it faces is way more tame than the old 8.7. Object 268 is the only one that I'm kind of like questioning, but you know, maybe we'll leave it down there for now. Su-122-54, that was a crazy vehicle. Why did the red tail get moved up? I just like moved it up Because what else did I move up? There was another thing. Just felt like it was a little too low. It's kind of like a community service BR change, because I'm sure there's people at 6.7, even though the Retel, like, I don't know. The ATGM makes people sad. But we can, as always, talk about those things. AMX M4 definitely should go to 7.0. Anyone? Doesn't it have 12 degrees of gun depression, or is it 10? With a 6.7 consistent reload with a 90 mil with good pen. Good mobility. It was already fighting these things on the live server. Except for the T-54E1. T-54E1 could probably move up. I mean, it's a fucking 5-second autoloading heat slinger. What do we think about that? Yeah, AMX M4 definitely does not feel like a 6.7 vehicle when you consider everything else at 6.7. Maybe at that point, you know, maybe the AMX 13s could stay. Oh yeah, Yuri. Uh-huh. I believe you. I believe you. Zero bias. That's what we like to see. This Type 62, even though nobody has it in the game because it's a fucking super rare vehicle, it'll go up there with the other Type 62. And I moved the G6 up as well, just to give it the heat slinger or high explosive slinger treatment. If AMX M4 went to 7.3, then it would start facing some fully stabilized BMP, ZTZ. I don't know. Move the port 268 down, please? No. It's going to stay at 7.0 at the very least. I won't put it at 7.3 though. It used to be 7.0, the AMX M4. Fair enough. And there's the STA-1 and STA-2. I mean, they do have Heat FS and M82. The G6? Oh, G6 used to be 7.0. I gotcha. T-44. That one might be a candidate for going down. Object 248. Object 248 has a better reload, equivalent shell, but way worse hull armor. But the turret is really the problem. It also doesn't have a roof 50 cal. Tempted to put it up, but the Chinese ZSU, I have it at 8.3 right now. Lennox, eventually I will. And the Zaklam, yeah, I did not touch the Zaklam. It's 6.7 in live server. So is Type 60 ATM. I think they'll probably just stay. Ferdinand. Tiger 2 H's and stuff. M56 is covered by the M109. I have not done this yet. That was one thing that I thought about last night. Since we moved the M26 down, what about the T99? And yes, Marco, I already did top tier. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's try and focus on where we're at. T20, Bulldog. Yeah, I don't think the T44, like, desperately needs to go down, but it could. And then there's the M26E1 as well. Kind of like a more niche vehicle. Does it deserve to go down to the same BR as the other M26s? German Bulldog. American M41 is 6'3". Is the American Bulldog 6'0"? Did I forjure what it was? No, it is 6'3". Oh, then I must have had the German Bulldog at the wrong BR. That checks out. That checks out. Flak Reaper, the Panther 2 is still at 7.0, just like it is on live right now. They aren't far off from the M46. Yeah, you know what? Let's move the STA 1 and 2 up. I think that's quite valid. I already moved the STA 3 up because the autoloader is crazy. Jagd Panther. Guess it's fine. It's 6'3". JPZ 4.5 probably fine too. Mr. Black Panther T62. You're talking about an actual T62, right? It's at 9.3 right now. Don't freak out though, because 10.3 is what it's facing now, and it already fights these vehicles. But now it's a full up tier instead of just one step above. Yeah, mid tier really is a lot of chaos. Well, technically, what's our new mid tier? Our new mid tier is like 7.0. Yeah, I almost feel like we could use literally another BR. Like we could go to 15.0, take all of this shit, move it up, and then just have more space to play here. I don't think we really need to have like a minimum hard cutoff BR for heat slingers, because then we would have things like the fucking IKV 103, which is just a sad hunk of metal. Also, even though it's a tank destroyer, I'm just going to move the 1963 up one step. Call me crazy. Maybe I am crazy. I need to be more on top of the switchover. My bad. My bad. 2S1. There's not really a huge problem with the 2S1. It's definitely, well, it has heat FS. Really shitty turret traverse. Really shitty armor. Panthers. So here's the thing about the Panther F, right? Panther F technically has like a worse turret in a way, in a lot of ways, but the rangefinder and the 7.1 second expert 6.7 ace reload, it makes me like, I take the Panther F over all the other Panthers. Do you guys think this would be like the world's craziest move or what? To 6.3 for the Panther F? Then there's also the potential of moving like the Panther A and G with the faster turret traverse up. Because they have like, what is it, like 18 degrees per second? Panther F is still rather slow. The better reload, though, is like wild on it. Let's put that up there. Let's do that. I guess I'll organize these so they're slightly less enraging. There we go. Yeah, surely, right, Nate? I know. Also, you know, here's something we should talk about really quick. If any of you guys, I don't really play low tier that much, but one thing that I do know, Tiger H1 has the smoke launchers on the corners of the hull. And the Tiger West and Ost don't have them. And the Tiger Ost has like the fucking wood on the sides. Do you guys think these should go higher than the H1? And Ethan, I think there's 1,000 tanks, right around 1,000. Tiger spam at 5.7. Pretty annoying. What about the paw print Tiger? Is that thing? The differences are almost negligible. Well, the cupola on the Tiger E is a thing. The wood doesn't cover the weak spot, but it does allow you to angle more. The Tiger West is the good one. I don't think the Tiger West... I think they're all the H1 with the standard H1 tall cupola that's easy to hit. The West has the camo net and the Ost has the wood on the sides, which means you can over-angle the side a little bit, which makes the front plate stronger. But then again, it's still an H1 on the turret. Interesting things. Oh, there's tracks. Oh, I see them. Barely. Yeah, I see. Makes it a little harder to hit it. And both of them don't have the smoke dischargers on the hull corners. Then where is... Did I miss it or are they both here? Oh, there it is. Yeah, VK 4501P and then the Beffelswagen Porsche Tiger. Tigris is just over here. 6.0. Is the Tigris... Does it have the fucking Tiger E cupola? I don't play mid-tier enough. Huh? Huh? What? It has both shells? Huh? Okay, Gaijin. Okay. It's a better Tiger E, but is it really that much better? Probably not. You don't think Tiger Ost or Porsche Tiger are worse than the Panther A? What do you guys think about M36B2? Could it be 6.0 with the heat FS? That's something to consider. It's not the world's strongest vehicle, really. Could be something to think about. You know, I never really understood why the Comet one went down to 5.3 as well. Not mobile enough to warrant going up. What about the M36B one? Because that one, I think it's literally the fastest Sherman chassis vehicle in the game. VFW 6.0. Well, it is really easy to kill. Oh, you know what? One that is probably valid to go up is the fucking flat Panzer 70. I don't think we need to even talk about that one. Just a worse Challenger. That's true. Challenger is pretty crazy good. The Ram might even be valid to go up now with the changes, but the Challenger... Maybe? What about the KV-220? Is it still unbalanced and a menace like it always was? Sam, if you keep spamming the Chinese tank buff thing, I'm just gonna be bonking you out of here. Sorry, buddy. Let's be honest, like, what the fuck does the T-20 have going for it, realistically? Is it like the reverse gear or something? It's got a 76, no armor. Stabilizer. Well, is it that much better than the Sherman 76? I don't think it's that much better. Like, surely it's not that much better. 2BR steps. It's a 76. The regular, same gun as the Sherman here. The stabilizer got removed. Wasn't that the T-25? Not the T-20? So was there anyone that really thought the Porsche Tiger should go up? There's the VFW. VFW is pretty nasty, but it can get bombed out really easily. Sure, we make the rules here. We can just fucking do that. Might as well. No, not the Porsche Tiger, he says. The turret traverse overall speed slaughtered. And the weak side corners negate the angling. I could see these things being valid. There's a lot to talk about. VFW, though. VFW, okay, realistically, I see it now. The VFW is just a better Waffentrager. And if the Waffentrager is going to stay 5.7, then the VFW should go up. I see the light now. My third eye is opening. That's because Waffentrager's dog shit, not because the VFW is that good. Amin, Thunder Ace, I haven't really touched those things. We got the T-34 still at 6.7, and the T-32 still at 7.3, T-32E1 still 7.7. I did, I have considered moving the T-34 up. Sorry, the letter J. I don't really... I try to pronounce the names of vehicles slightly more betterer than the average American, but I don't go the full distance. So, if the T-29 is 7.0, I feel like the T-34 could easily be 7.0. Does anyone else feel the same way? T-30 is like cool too or whatever. The reload is slower than the T-29, but the gun is crazy good. And then the T-30 is just giga reload. Like, I know the Tiger 2H and the 88 can front pen the cheek with the mantlet of the T-34 and just one-tap it. But the mobility of the T-34 overall, the gun handling, the gun depression, it's got a 50 cal. It does have some trolley armor spots. I generally hold the T-34 in higher regard for versatility than the Tiger 2H. 350 cals. I'm tempted to do it. I'm very tempted to. And then there was the Tiger 2 105, which, like, some people said it could definitely easily move up, but so I did it anyways, but we got a work in progress tag on it. Does the T-34 really club 5.7? IS-1 with an 85 millimeter. Short 88. 85 millimeter. 75. I feel like the T-34 could easily go up. Sure, it has no APHE, but the pen is wild. Then there's also the T-92, which we should talk about. And I've been tempted to talk about the M46s as well. Like, T-92 has, like, a very valid reason to go up. It's a 5-second reload with heat FS and APDS, although it is a 76. Front-mounted engine. Good mobility, although the reverse gear is pretty bad. It's a light tank with scouting. And yeah, Lennox, I haven't touched the Looks A2. This is the BR it is on the live server. And now T-34, T-29 are fighting IS-4M, IS-6, T-54. I mean, T-29 was already fighting T-54, and that's like pretty crazy. M46 at 7.3 would fight 8.3. This is our current 8.3. Only one thing with the laser rangefinder and the IKV with the, really slow heat. A couple of stabilized things. Yeah, I could probably stay where it is. What about the T-92, though? Is the T-92 really better than the LGS? SEP 13.3? Well, I'll have a brief... Here we go, for a brief tangent for 14.0. The SEP V2 and the SEP... Buddy, they have the exact same armor without the add-on kit. They have the exact same optics, exact same thermals, same shell. No. T-92 has 10 degrees of gun depression. What about the M26E1, M6A2E1? Stock APCR grind. Well, I know that's like coloring your experience with it, but once you get the APDS and the Heat FS, it turns into a way better vehicle. The stock experience of a vehicle should never, influence the placement of it when it's fully modified, unless we introduce dynamic BRs. Then we might talk. Is the M26E1 just... Is it largely the same as the M26, or does it have a reason to be higher? Isn't it like a longer 90? Or heat or something. Also, I really don't think that, someone did say that the T26E1 should go up. I don't know, dude. The reload on that thing is so fucking bad, and the armor add-on doesn't really help you at all. I don't think it's the T26E1 gun. That thing is way longer. Look at that. Yeah, big cat. I'm with you there. Don't worry. They're the same gun? Hold on. Please tell me I can see the M26E1. No, that's what I was worried about. Sad. I'm pretty sure it's not this gun, though. That gun is extremely long. 224mm pen on the APHE. To the wiki I go. M26E1. It has the T-54 cannon. With T-41. Okay, yeah, it is the same gun. You guys got me. So I got, yeah, it should stay up there. T-26E1, though, it just... I feel like the T-26E1 is not even on the same level as the T-26E5. What if the T-26E5 went to 7.0? That would probably be crazy. Like, it already fights the mouse, it already fights the IS-4M, but that's kind of what we're trying to solve. Short 90mm, though you do have very good armor. Things to consider. I think one thing that we're definitely not doing is touching the IS-2s. They're probably okay. If anything, the IS-2... Nah, it'll probably stay. To be fair, though, like, I didn't necessarily plan on going, like, super in-depth with all these vehicles down here. Because I don't feel like the balance is that, like, egregiously bad from 1.0 to 6.7. It's really 6.7 and above. However, I did change the M8 LAC because fuck that thing being 1.0. Is there anything else that, like, really doesn't deserve to be 1.0? Probably not. It's just reserve. Things that don't deserve to be 1.3, though, it's like the Rogo. Huh. Yeah, China has one reserve. I don't know, they can suck it. Now, what happens a lot of the time, what vehicle was I trying to play? Harry Hopkins. I was trying to play the Harry Hopkins, and this motherfucker right here just gallivants around the map, not giving a single fuck about what's going on, and just 20 milling everything to death. So, like, what if all of the 20 mil things just went up by one step? Maybe the extremely mobile ones a little more. Because I don't know if you guys have played like low tier much recently, but bro, the German low tier players are such sweaty motherfuckers. And it makes playing almost every other nation, like, really annoying. What about the Panzer IIF? Does that really deserve to go up with everything? Let's do the 20 mil. 20 mil, 20 mil. I feel like they could go up here easily. Tiger 2H facing M108s would be crazy work. M108? M109, you mean? And then 2F. Flak Panzer 38 is even kind of a bully. And gotta move the 2 TD even though no one plays it. Just the way those German players play, bro. They're way too overconfident. They've been having a good time for too long. We gotta put a stop to it. M109. Oh, E-Man, you mean the M103. Right? Tiger 2H. No, Lennox, go away. I am touching the low-tier bully machines. No, 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 you cannot stop this. Do the 6.7s really, like, struggle hard against 7.7? Maybe T32E1, maybe M103. That's pretty much the two ones that I have in my crosshairs right now. But if they went up to 8.0, then they would be fighting things with APF-STS, T10M, stabilized things, some things with laser rangefinders, Vidar, which it already faces. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. What do you guys think about that? M40 is going to vaporize everything it fights in a down tier. Yeah, exactly, Rubio. Exactly, man. It's a difficult vehicle to balance. Legitimately. But currently, the 7.7 no longer really struggles that hard against 8.7 because we got like OF40, DF105, Bradley. I guess maybe Bradley could go up. You know what? Honestly, though, isn't the Bradley pretty much on the same level of performance as the fucking M901? Like, let's be real here. The Bradley is better in 90% of scenarios. Anyone feeling like I'm crazy here? Bradley would now fight Turn 3, AMD1, bunch of stuff it already fights. I was kind of questioning my placement of the Bradley. Because, like, let's be real, it has thermals, a double tow launcher, APDS. And one thing that's for sure is the Bradley was definitely not even on the same level of performance as the M113 tow boxes. It's probably also, I would rather have the Bradley over the CM25. But if it goes to 9.3, then we're facing like Big Light Panzer, T64, Chief to Mark 10, ZTZ, a bunch of stuff that it already fights, remember. It already fights all of these things. These are like 9093s in the game right now. Yo, see you later, Led J. Mr. Stupid Random. Currently, I have the SK-105s up here because they do have a 4-second reload with 12 rounds ready to fire, APF-STS, laser rangefinder, Gen 3 thermals, decent-ish mobility. The biggest pain point of them is no stabilizer and bad reverse gear. But, I mean, I would say that it generally clears the 279. 279 is also still work in progress. I mean, it could go up more. Right now it faces 9.3s, which it's at 9.0 in the game. Currently, what do you guys think? Is 279 better or same performance as AMD1? For me, I would always take the fucking AM1, AMD1 over 279. Like, I don't care about the goofy armor. Should it at least be on the same BR? Not as good? I don't think it's as good either because these have laser rangefinder, faster reload, APF SDS. But is it better than a Chieftain? It has the best APHE in the game. Currently, in the live server, it's also higher BR than M60 Rise. Same BR as Leo A1A1. Higher BR than Chieftain. Same BR, same BR. Higher BR than, higher BR than. It could maybe go up. Then it would fight 11-0. Khalid, KPZ-70, ZLT-11, Type 16, MTCA, AMX-30 Super. Why is the Term 3 higher than the A1A1? Oh, because it's significantly fucking better than the thing. Term 3 has 12 degrees of gun depression, a 30mm coax, better vertical traverse speed, same shell, 5-second reload with an infinitely deep ammo rack. It's like 40 rounds or something. Identical mobility. Slightly worse armor, but then again, A1A1 doesn't have great armor. So yeah, Term 3 is definitely better than A1A1. If you were thinking about the 1A5, 1A5 has a laser rangefinder and thermals. Neither of these two do. .279 currently fights all of these things. Even the Desert Warrior. Why is the Desert Warrior up this high? I mean, to be fair, it does have better ATGMs than the... I was thinking about the Bradley. Leo 1A5 does have DM33. You know, at that point, M48 Super should probably be with these. I was thinking that yesterday. It's pretty much the same type of experience. One thing that I want to check... If this is what I think it is, then maybe not. But I think it does have a higher top speed. 56 kilometers per hour forward. Okay, well, it's definitely on the same capability level as those. It even has better armor. Where's the normal warrior? It seems I have not moved the normal warrior into this either. One moment. Oh, I didn't make one for the warrior. Warrior suffers. Warrior absolutely suffers. It's probably in here. I just fucking forgot about it. No, I was just saying Warrior suffers because I forgot about it. It is not the worst tank that I've ever played. In up tiers with the current state of, you know, vehicle balance, it can be a suffer bus. Probably could just keep it at the same BR as the Falcon. We'll do that for now. No, I did not forget the other warrior, the Desert Warriors here. Currently, it is one step below M3A3 Bradley. We can maybe talk about that again later. Infi, the worst vehicle I've ever played is the fucking... What's it called? Type 60 ATM. Trash. You don't like the Bradley all that much, but it's certainly better than the Warrior. Regular Warrior? Hello, Turney. Welcome. Warrior behind the Bradley. So this Warrior or the other one? Those ones are on the same level. The reason I have the Desert Warrior behind the M3A3 is because of the commander sight on the M3A3, meaning that you can be hull down and do ATGM work without exposing your turret, unlike Desert Warrior. Yeah, Rubio, the looks is pretty bad too. Desert Warrior also has way less gun depression. Doesn't it have like -7? And it wasn't behind the Bradley. They're on the same level. If the Bradley went, or sorry, the Warrior went to 8-7, then it would fight 7-7, which isn't that crazy. Oh, it should be behind. I see. I see what you say. Unstabilized laser rangefinder, APDS, Gen 2 thermals. Milan, right? Isn't it Milan? Milan 2? Very good mobility. 10 degrees gun depression. It being unstabilized is a huge thing compared to the Bradley. And 2 ATGMs ready to fire. Yeah, I can see the light. But then is the Striker really better than the Warrior? We had a long conversation yesterday about all the ATGM vehicles. I mean, that could possibly have been reasoning for the Bradley to go up also. Which really wouldn't be the craziest thing ever. Because with Bradley at 9.0, it can fight like the Mouse, IS-4M, Centurion Mark IIIs. Stuff like that. So, like, honestly, like, I know I already moved the Bradley up, but it is the same BR as these vehicles on the live server currently. It's really, like, not a crazy take for it to be that high. If anyone, you know, speak your mind or forever hold. Bradley is not necessarily Desert Warrior equivalent. This Bradley still only has ITOs, and the Desert Warrior and the better Bradley have TOW 2As and TOW 2Bs. And this is fully stabilized. I feel like the Warrior is definitely on par, at least with the Striker. It's definitely not worse than the Striker. Good night, Sir Rubio. Good night, sir. Mm-hmm. So many vehicles. So many. Yes, Nero, I did put the 12254 at 7.3. It has a 14.5 millimeters. APDS, same as the T54. Same mobility. Very good armor. It's definitely, like, the main reason I put it up here is because one thing is it is not a 6.7 vehicle, And for me, and probably many others, I hope, it's better than the Object 268. And currently, it would only fight stuff that it barely can't see in the current server, live server. You always die to it. Oh, you want to see it go up higher. I see. Uh-huh. I honestly could see it, but I'm going to keep it at 7.3 right now. Do you guys feel like we're actually ready to go look at back to the top and go down again? Could be. Maybe. We didn't really spend a whole lot of time down here. But then again, like I said earlier in the stream, I don't think we necessarily need to. There's not a huge amount of, like, fuckery going on around these BRs. Everything is mostly fine. Sometimes. I do remember a lot of the time, like, playing at 1.3 and 1.7, when you get into a full up tier and fight 2.7s, sometimes it feels like pretty fucking crazy. Either way, like, things could be thought about and adjusted here, but it would take a lot more time, and I don't think there's a really huge problem here. Yes, Elf Pirate, we already did move. One thing I did do is KV-1B, KV-1E up. And we did move the Sav up 1. Sav could maybe even be higher, because the Sav is definitely better than the IKV-103. PVKV-2. What would it fight in a full up tier then? Comet. Starting to fight a lot more thick vehicles that it can't... It already can't pen a lot of stuff from the front. I seem to have missed the M6. Oh no, there it is. Chinu 2 should go lower. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people enjoy the Chinu 2 where it is. Sav is a pretty crazy vehicle. I don't know, you know, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna fucking make my own goddamn rules. And there was a lot of people yelling at me saying the skink should go lower. I'm just gonna leave it where it is for now. Ugh. Was it you, Elf Pirate? Was it you? Anyways, I gotta go take a leak for 1 second, so I'll be right back. Give me like 2 minutes. We continue. Oh my god, jump scare. Hello. The skink, the poor skink. Yeah, we can do that. I would generally, even though the boss Vark is unarmored, I would personally take the boss Vark over the skink because I like the guns way better. The skink, dude, the velocity on the 20 mils is just so bad. What velocity? Right. You know what? I'm very tempted to move the PT-76 up to 5.7. In the right hands, it can be crazy. Let's just ignore that, though. Let's just forget I ever said that. Things are looking much better. I think we still have a bit of a squeeze around 6.7 to 8.0 now. Maybe. It's not critical as 7.7 was to 8.7. Let's go back to the top. Now, one dude came into the stream earlier yesterday and said that he thinks the Panther should not be 14.0. Now, that is because no anti-air in the game currently is fully capable of countering top-tier CAS. And we're talking Su-34, Su-30SM, F-16C, F-15E, even the Panther. It is definitely a conversation to be had. Now, we don't have any work in progress tags on anything up here other than the 2S25M. It really is simply not close in terms of the ITO-90M, which is a thing where maybe we can just shift all the anti-airs down one, because top tier CAS really is quite bonkers. Is anyone else feeling that? It would also fill up some lineups too. I can easily just Ctrl Z all this. It should stay at the top. Let's be objective though. Make sure to be very objective about it. Should it really be at the top? And this is assuming, of course, 14.0 ground would assume currently that air would stay 14.0 ground, 14.0, even in ground RB. So there would be no 15.0 CAS. Or maybe we should make an argument for that too. Because one thing that I do plan to do shortly is do a ground RB CAS rebalancing pass. Exactly. Shouldn't necessarily be 14.0. But then again, here's something we got to think about too. Is if we talk about 14.0, like Su-34, basically we'd have KH-38 MTs here, maybe infrared hammers, maybe the F-15E. I would argue, honestly, that the F-15E and F-16C could be down at 13.7, just because Mavericks aren't anywhere close to KH-38 MTs and hammers. So then, you got to realize that we quickly step down to vehicles that can barely fight against the Panther. If it's at 13.7, The 12.7 CAS is like 4 Mavericks and a GBU or 2. Or 6 Mavericks and like 2 GBUs or some shit like that. Or just 6 Mavericks. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the argument for Panther and the other anti-airs, you know, remaining as they were, which I can just easily Control Z. And this is a train of thought that I'm leaning towards. I know it would probably help if I had the cards for the aircraft that I could, you know, arrange so everything made sense. But don't have those yet. You know what I might make? You know what would be cool to do is like I add another column that was just anti-airs, shove all the anti-airs into that column, and then we have all the CAS planes that the anti-airs would face. I'm just going to go back to how it was, and maybe we can do other things about it later. But, you know, some kind of visualization that would have all the anti-airs at a certain BR, so you could see what the CAS planes would face. And then maybe we can talk about having 15.0 CAS for ground. Anyways, if anyone has opinions about any vehicle placement, other, you know, not just the ones with the whip tag, let me know. I'm going to be mainly looking at the ones with the work in progress tag right now, though. S25M is a very good vehicle. But is it truly 13.0 worthy? I mean, it has 70 forward, 70 reverse, like 35 horizontal, but only 3.5 vertical, 3BM60, Gen 3 thermals commander gunner with a great commander sight, and it's a light tank, obviously. No armor, best armor. Thermal scout drone. It has great optics too. I think it's probably like 6 to 12 or 4 to 12. I'm not sure. No 50 cal, but it does have 2 machine guns, smoke grenades. I could easily, like, for me, I would take the 2S25M over the T90 any day. You get the same shell, you get better thermals, you get a commander sight, you get a way better reverse gear, better forwards, better overall mobility. Yeah, Heckardy, that's what we're going to be talking about. Anything with the work in progress tag. I feel pretty solid about the 2S38 though. The vehicles that we have to keep in mind while we're talking about 2S25M is CV90-120, VT5, CV90-105, Gentado 120s. I guess AGS. AGS might even be better overall versatility-wise, effectiveness-wise than the 2S25M. And also, like, I do agree with some people were saying, why is the Bishma up there? I get it. But then that brings into question the T90. Because in the live server currently, 2A4 is 10.7, T90 is 11.0. So should the T90 go down? I mean, it's really not the world's most effective vehicle. Sure, it has 3BM60 Gen 2 thermals. But the gun handling, the reverse gear... You wouldn't put 2S25M below Centados? Well, Centados do have a 5-second ace reload with a better shell? Right? They have a better shell, don't they? Let's take a gander at our friends Centado 120s. DM53. Okay, well, yeah, they have a better shell. I knew they didn't have DM53. They have 589 pen, though, so they do have a better shell. 5-second reload. Better survivability. Laser warning receiver. 50 cal. Yeah? Yeah. I can see this. You know, I'm a bit of a 2S25M enjoyer, but I'm just going to go with the down move for it. What do we think about 2S38? Is 2S38 valid here? There, now 2S25M also doesn't have to fight top-tier Leos. And what did we think? It seems like no one was really having any problem with T90 moving down. $91.05. Honestly, I think $91.05 can probably just go down here and be chill. T80U, there was people complaining about the Swedish T80U because it only has 3BM42. It is like an 80 millimeter difference in pen compared to 3BM46. 2S25M worse or better than HSTVL though? Well, it's definitely worse. HSTVL and RDFLT are on their own like class. 2S25M is great. One thing's for sure, it is not 10.0 worthy, just like it is on the live server. Like, fuck that. 2S25M is nowhere near 10.0. Let's just go ahead and say 2S38 lives there. This makes me kind of tempted maybe to put 292 down. $2S38 down tier vehicles. Yeah, it's nothing crazy. $2S38 is a good tank. It might even, like, does anyone... It's probably not the craziest move that's ever been suggested, but we can, you know, be normal. $292 at 12.0. I don't know if I would move it down to 12.0, but it might be valid to move it down here. It does have a 10-second reload. Now it's fighting XM8, 2AV, Type 16, AMX 40, which it already fights in a full up tier. They already fight in a full up tier, full down tier, you know? The one thing currently about the 292 is it doesn't have an autoloader damage model, which really makes it troll more than it should. Swedish T80U is just better than it though, like, right? It has better armor with the ERA, it has a better reload. Thermals, right? This thing has thermals, it just lacks 3BM46. Which is why it's one step worse than the T80U. I think that makes sense. I think that totally makes sense. .292, true. Missing a lot of utility. No smoke grenades, no machine gun, no thermals. The CV90-105 thing, I mean, it has a 5-second reload, DM33, Gen 3 thermals commander gunner, insane mobility, great survivability, 10 degrees gun depression. I feel like it's better than the you know, fucking first Abrams 2A4. Shit like that. Now that we're here, you know, if anyone wants to talk about any of the previous things, feel free to, of course, but T80UD. Chinese T80UD has Gen 2 thermals. Russian T80UD does not. There is a history of vehicles with and without thermals being at different BRs. T80UD, like, although it does have a 6.5 second reload, worst T80 by far, you think? But is the T80UD better than the terms? T72B 1989. And yeah, heck, Cardi, I know this thing has, like, not that great of vertical, but... And I agree, Marco. I think the Striker would be higher if the reload was better. T80UD better than terms. See, like, that's what I'm thinking. Especially the Chinese one, because it also has Gen 2 thermals. They have the same reverse gear, better armor, better reload, same shell. Better mobility as well forwards due to the horsepower. So, like, it's definitely better than the terms. And I don't think the terms should go down necessarily. Leo 2K, is it better than the terms? Challenger Mark II, is it better than the terms? These are things we can talk about too. Oliphant Mark II, is it as good as the terms? Has significantly worse armor. Probably slightly worse mobility overall than the terms. And let's remember that T72 terms is 10.3 in the game right now, and AMX 40 is 9.7. And Leopard 2K is 10.0, so it's a step below the terms. These are all things we must think about. You think the terms is better than the 2K? There is the thermals, but then 2K has insane mobility, forwards and backwards, great horsepower to weight ratio, great gun handling, way better than the terms. Probably better optics, zoom-wise. It has a slightly worse shell, same reload, better reload aced, and it has the 20 mil. You see exactly 2K. We got Mart here saying 2K is 10x the terms, which I agree. I mean, terms, maybe if you put them on a long-range map and just have that be the one comparison, the terms might be better. But then again, still 2K has the mobility advantage. You know, terms has the Gen 2 thermals, but 2K has, like, insane mobility. That's what I'm saying too, Dan. In good hands, the 2K clears. So, what are we thinking right now about T80UDs? Because pretty much, like, the only thing I could see doing is terms going down, but I don't think that's valid at all. T80UD taking its place. The Chinese UD staying up here because it has Gen 2 thermals, but, I mean, we might be in a good place right now. I think we're in a good place. One thing that's definitely not going to happen is this thing going up. That's definitely not, I don't think that's an option. Yeah, it's, you know, and then there's all the people that say thermals aren't really a big deal, which they're totally valid in saying. A lot of the times, thermals are not a huge deal. A lot of the times, I spot long-range targets without thermals, even. Sometimes I use them, some, you know, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, moving along. Merkava 2B and 1B at 11.0. The reason I have the work in progress tag on them is because currently in the live server they're 9.3, which means they do not fight 2A4s, Ariete prototype or pre-series, T80UD, T80B, M1 Abrams. Well, they do have... Is it DM33 or they have DM63? Lettuce. They have DM33. With a 40-10 gun handling. The 2B has a 23 kilometer per hour reverse gear, but the 1B only has an 11.3. They have, you know, interesting survivability. 8 degrees of gun depression. Regular standard reload. Shitty optics. 20 times commander sight, but a fixed 8 gunner. Gen 1 thermals. Laser warning receiver. A lot of smokes. Mediocre, very mediocre mobility power to weight ratio. Now, that's why I was considering moving them down, which would mean the Galbatosh would go down too. Now, Merkavas at 10.7 would mean they fight 3zwang 104, M60 TTS, M60 Rise, Leo A1A1, 279, Chieftain Mark 5. Do we feel like that's too much? Because, like, as much as people might not really enjoy the Merkava Mark 1s, and then there's the Merc Mark 2D, which is kind of a silly one. Mark 2D, I used to think it had a better shell. It still has DM33. It's just the add-on armor package is the only reason why it's a higher BR one step. Same optics. Yeah, they might be a bit strong there, but it could still be okay. I see what you're saying. Consider this, though. I don't know. I feel like the Merkavas, I feel like they could easily stay at 11.0. The only thing I might do is, like, move the Mark 2D down, because, like, does the Mark 2D, does it really need to be? It's, because the fucked up part is it is technically better than the 2B, 1B, I guess. It's only an armor, and it's not by much. That armor does have its effectiveness, yes, Dan. Not enough of a difference, yeah. I always used to think that this thing had DM63, which I was like, okay, sure, fair enough, whatever. 30 mils of pen. Well, 22 millimeters of pen, if we're being realistic. Yeah, what's up? Let's go, War Thunder. Yeah, I know. No gameplay, sorry. We're doing some brain play today. You think they're too slow to be fighting shit like Leo-2s and Abrams? Is it any slower? I think it might be slightly heavier, or maybe they forgore. It's similar mobility. I'm really torn on this one. I'm actually very torn on this one. And then there's Galbatosh, which could probably just go back down, even if the mercs stay. $11.15. And then there's the Sabra, which I put at 11.7. Having some second thoughts about putting it down here. Maybe it does have a top tier shell with good turret traverse and a 6-second reload. But then that would start the conversation again about M60 AMBT and 120S, because the whole conversation was 120S AMBT Sabra. Yeah, see you later, War Thunder. Mr. Let's Go. Sabra's AMBT level. That's what I thought too. That's why I'll put it up there. 6-second reload, top tier 589 penning shell. And true infrared, like I can, because I played a lot of the Merkava Mark IID. Let's do a stat shame. Merkava Mark IID currently is 9.7 in the game, which means it faces all of these vehicles that we're talking about the other Merkavas facing and potentially not having a great time. Does it suffer? Does it suffer? Mark IID, 72% win rate, 302 deaths, 1183 kills. Let's just look at the other Merkavas too. I haven't played them as much. 1B, yeah, 5 deaths, 21 kills. 20 deaths, 85 kills for the 2B. Yeah, Big Cat, the 2D has been at 9.7 for quite a long time. I think it's been at 9.7 for the entire time that I played it through all those matches I just showed. So I don't know, like I'm feeling more and more justified in keeping the 1B and 2B at 11.0 in our theoretical thing. Feeling more and more justified. The one thing that I will say here, though, is because, like, Merkava 1B and 2B are the same BR as Galbatosh, 7C, 6C, 6B Gal in the live server right now. I don't think that's valid because although, you know, all of these vehicles are fat and slow, but the fact that you get a higher turret traverse rate and higher top speed, better reverse speed on the Merkavas, I feel like they are a cut above these things. Like, that's where I'm coming from there. Thing we got to remember about the Galbatosh 6C, 6B Gal, 7C has a fixed 8 times optic like the Merkava does. Galbatosh and these ones have a 6 to 12, which is a lot better. But it's true also that Batosh and Magash 7C have 908 horsepower, and these ones have 750. Galbatosh leagues better than CM11. Unfortunately, I cannot change your mind on that because this has a 5-second reload. However, you know, there is the mobility trade-off, and the ERA is slightly less useful than the composite. But dude, the reload. The reload. You forgot that? Okay. And yes, NJ, the survivability also on Merkava. So I'm going to do... Boom. Merkava's 11-0. Next is these things. So let me briefly explain. I think that Gepard was where it was supposed to be. Was it? Gepard is up there for its anti-tank capability, basically. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be. Anyways, let's talk about these. MBT-70 is lower than KPZ-70 because KPZ has the 6-second reload. All things considered, they're the same other than the reload. I feel like the 6-second reload is a significant advantage for the KPZ. And then I've always personally thought, you know, I know there are differences to the XM803 and MBT-70, but I feel like they got the same reload. They got the same shell. Sure, MBT-70 has a 20 mil versus the 803's 50 cal. 803 also has slightly worse mobility. But like, let's just see if we put XM803 at 10.3. XM803 has like 50 degrees of fucking turret traverse, by the way, or some shit. Laser rangefinder. If it was fighting 9.3s, I just feel like that would be a little bit outrageous. You know what I mean? Like our current set of 9.3s, if the XM803 was down there, and same for the fucking XM1 Chrysler, like a lot of these vehicles have no laser rangefinder, have a shitty early APDS or APFSDS. Some of them have no stabilizer. I feel like them fighting any of these things would be like giga unfair because they're fast, laser rangefinders. These ones have thermals. .803 is so low. Dude, I thought at first you said so slow, and I was like, what is this guy smoking? So I just want, you know, I put these work in progress things here just because I wasn't 100% sure if I really believed in it, but I think it doesn't sound crazy. What about full up tier? These are facing Leopard 2K, which, to be fair, the 803 already fights. It's being introduced to the terms, which the MBT-70 already fights. Challenger Mark II is 10.3. This is 10.3. This is, so they fight those already. Fight this. They already are on par, basically, with the Sabra, BR-wise. CCVL. So it's not like they fight anything they don't already fight. It's just they would fight them in a full up tier instead of being at par. Well, I guess they already kind of do in a full up tier, but anyways. So I don't think it's crazy to keep him here. One thing I don't really know is like XM1 Chrysler. I know there's some small differences, but is it really worth a BR step? And also there's Merkava Mark 1. I think it just has like a way worse shell than the other Mercs in the live server. And this is a really rare vehicle, to be fair. In the live server, it is one step below the 2B and the other Merkavas. Yeah, DM23 compared to DM33. That is, you know, a decently significant worse shell. AMX 32 105. Very slow vehicle. Does have thermals, laser rangefinder, APF SDS. T64A is a work in progress here because, like, I feel like the advantages of the T72A with the laser rangefinder make it worse than the T72A. But I don't think the T72A can really go anywhere right now. 72A definitely not on the same level as 64B. $64A, what does it fight in our down tier now? Because now we've actually kind of finished some things. It's fighting M60 AOS. That's pretty normal and, like, thematically correct as well, to be fair. Your time just changed and it's 2 a.m.? Okay, good night. Bye-bye. Clovis. T64A, in a full up tier currently, is fighting Oliphant Mark II, things with DM63. Very good thermals, laser rangefinder, good mobility. 2AV. If it went up further, then it would fight 2K, Challenger Mark II, 96A prototype, Sabra. I don't know, I feel like T64, I feel like it's, like, actually pretty room temperature to have that thing stay there. And Chieftain Mark 10 too, like, it does have a laser rangefinder, insane turret, great APF SDS, 10 degrees gun depression, sort of middle of the road reload though. Eximate and CCVL, they have a different shell. One thing that we're not really doing in this rebalance project is changing the shells that things have. So, you know, they do, the Eximate does have a worse shell. It also has way less smokes. One thing that I didn't check on those two is the gun handling. I know they have fast horizontals, but I wonder about the verticals, because I know the CCVL actually has kind of a decent one. Isn't it like 10 degrees? CCVL. 42 and probably 11 aced. Eximate. Oh, that's right. It's 9.7. Oh, I did have it in here. I just didn't see it. Blind as a hell. Okay, they have the same gun handling. Fair enough. They both also have 20 degrees of elevation. Eximate has a 50 cal. I believe they had the same optics, 3 to 10. Eximate has M774, 372 pen, and CCVL has M833. Really not a huge difference. Really not a huge difference in pen. I've always felt like they're equivalent vehicles. You know what? You know what? I mean, it does not deserve to be lower and fight things that it just clubs. If CCVL is going to be up there, Eximate should too. They have a slightly different shell. Whatever. It's like 20 mils a pen. Similar story to some other vehicles that have DM33 versus DM63 though. It's like such a thin line. What about the Khalid? Significantly better mobility than the Chieftain Mark 10, for example. I'm feeling good about the Chieftain Mark 10. People might question the Roycat Mark 1D, but I do have the Roycats with the 105s up here at 11.3. the mobility gun handling. I mean, they do have really terrible vertical. So I felt like 2 steps, well, 3 steps, 1 full BR difference due to the shittier gun. It's pretty fair. Chieftain Mark 10. Chieftain Mark 10 also has the great gun handling. Desert Warrior 10-7 for sure. What do you think about the M3A3 then? Because the placement of the Desert Warrior I based off of the M3A3. And then we also have shit like VCC 8030 Dardo. I didn't really give these vehicles that much time and thought. VCC 8030 might even be on the same level as the Bradley. Given the Bradley stays there, it might not stay there. The thing about the Dardo is it's basically the same as the VCC 8030. You know, it has a different gun. Most people prefer the Dardo's gun. 8030 has a commander sight, so you can actually use the ATGMs hold down when the Dardo doesn't. And that was my main reasoning for the Bradley. No wait time after moving. Oh yeah, the Desert Warrior. These things fold, right? I don't play this Desert Warrior at all. If it went down to 10-7, then it would fight 9-7s, which is like not really the craziest thing. Huss, the main reason for top tier not being 14-0 is I think, or you know, the question should really be, why is Gaijin doing nothing? I think they're doing nothing because they are scared of change. They're scared of trying new things. And they probably also don't want to put in the effort. M3A3 fighting T90A. Spike launching things. Hold down Uma. Putting my thinking cap on for the Bradley Desert Warrior VCC situation. I think, yeah, at the very least, the 8030 should be... I don't think it has that much of an advantage. Like, sure, the Bradley, you have to wait a little bit to fire. But it does have thermals on the commander sight and better commander sight placement and spall liners. At the very least, they should be at the same BR. At the very least, same BR. 8030 doesn't really have enough to be higher than the Bradley, right? The mobility is probably very similar between the two, with the VCC probably having a slight edge. Desert Warrior is 10.0 in the game currently, which means it wouldn't be fighting anything new here with the full up tier to 12.0. In fact, it would be fighting less scary things, because T90, Puma, all these things it would not be fighting as it does in the game currently. Yo, what's up, Eddie Shreds? What's good? Isn't the gun on the VCC way better? No, they have the same... No. VCC has a slightly better gun. Doesn't it have Gen 1 thermals? We got to remember to, you know, consider every aspect here. I think this is around 100 mils a pen, 101 flat, and then this has a Bushmaster, which means it should be like 116. They have the same ammo selection. Gen 1 thermals. So that's a thing. Non-pen. Don't we love 2-2B damage? It also has 10 degrees of gun depression versus the Bradley with 9. I know it's small, but it's a thing. Also, I killed you in your Bradley. Yeah, that's a reason for the Bradley to go straight down to, straight to jail. All the way down here. You agree after seeing more of it? Okay. One thing that you did help me out with was the VCC 8030. I forgot that it should probably be on par with the M3A3. And like I said, sure it folds, but it's just, it doesn't take that long to unfold it, you know? It really doesn't take that long. And so in that case, we're continuing to look at Chieftain Mark 10. Nobody really commented about Chieftain Mark 10. I think it fights pretty tame stuff in a full up tier. Yeah, pig stick, that would be amazing if they it told you what gen thermals were. I think I was okay with the Roycat at the very least. AMX 32-105 as well. I mean, it has a 20 mil. It's not that much. It's like slow to accelerate, but it has better top speed. Worse gun handling. I think things are making sense. SK-105A2 and Jagdpanzer say A2. You know, of course I have my justifications for it being up here, but I am willing to hear things for how it is. Also, Class 3P, that should be the same BR as the TAM. Probably. Realistically. If I did that. Nope. Sad. This is like the ghetto way of making things layer up well. Okay, there we go. So these things have a 4-second autoloader with a very decent APF SDS, Gen 3 thermals, laser rangefinder, decent forwards mobility. They're kind of sluggish, bad reverse gear, 12 rounds in the ready rack. It is fixed optics though, 8 times or some shit, but it is, Gen 3. Currently in a full down tier, they're fighting T10M, M48 GA2, M901, BMP2MD, Vidar, Udez, Magash 5, Mars 15, ZTZ D1. But if they go down further, then they're facing T95E1, IS-7, if it stays there. Panzer Bitsa 2000. Giraffe. Strizvang 103A, which is just, it's significantly better than, which, makes sense because it's so much higher. I could see it going down. What do you guys, is anyone thinking how far it should go down? Just one step? I don't think it should go down any further, really. Then it's fighting 8-3. Strizvang 101. Unstabilized. MX-30, BMP-1. Probably just one step. I could definitely agree with one step. Come here, you little rascal. I have seen the light. Yeah, that does, I agree, that does feel better. And then Mephisto also has the question mark on it. Hello, Nguyen. Yes, BMP2 9.3, but you got to remember that this is what the rest of the BRs look like. So, you know, give it a chance before you be crazy about it. It does have a individually controllable ATGM, so you can do hold down ATGM firing now in the BMP2. Has some bullshit survivability aspects to it. The gun, you know, it's annoying. It tickles a lot. Whole stack is starting to look better. You know, I agree with that. And yes, Huss, I will share this in the CC Discord feedback section. Just basically, it's going to be more of a vibe of unzipping and flopping it on the table than it is of, please listen to me and change your game to exactly how I presented here. It's mostly just a, hey, look at me, look at us, look what we did. Wouldn't it be cool if you did that too? Oh, wait, it's not the 2M? Oh, I see. Yeah. It is not the BMP2M. BMP2M up here. You know, I guess it, you know, the Bradley and the BMP2M VCC 8030, they do have, like, this is what I'm thinking right now. I'm almost tempted to move it down there, but I'll leave it up there for now. We already talked about that a lot. Anyways, VT12. I think the VT12 could honestly just stay there. Mephisto. Is the Mephisto better than SK105A2? Is the Mephisto better than Studio Vlog 104? Chinese TTS? Chieftain Mark 5? Leo A1A1. I'm tempted to say yes. Here's where the AFT09 is, by the way. AFT09, significantly better missile. Chieftain Mark 10 being 2 steps better than Mark 5s. Well, the Mark 5s do have APDS and no laser rangefinder. Way worse vertical traverse speed and worse turret armor. 10 Mephisto, I'm very, very tempted to just do that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Feels good, man. Type of change. It has limited ammo, but it does have an ammo box now. There is the potential, like we could move Chieftain Mark 5, Mark 3 up to 10-0. Because currently on the live server, it is 1 step higher than the Vickers Mark 3 and all of these other things. It's just like, for me, Vickers Mark 3, laser rangefinder. Oliphant Mark 1A, laser rangefinder, APFSDS. Vijayanta, 5-second reload, better mobility than Chieftains. Sure, you trade off the armor. Mephisto ZT3. Where's ZT3? It's down there. And then the 435 could go up. I mean, the only thing the 435 really has going for it is like weird survivability. It has worse gun handling, turret traverse, armor. The mobility is probably better, I guess. Yeah, no laser. Anyways, the VT12. What is it going to be clubbing in a full down tier? I don't know. I don't really feel like the VT-12s... I don't think it's really a problem. I don't really think it's legitimately a problem. I'm tempted to just remove the question mark. And like thought gaze, let's see what a full up tier for the Chieftain Mark 10 would look like now. T-72B, which it, to be fair, does not fight right now. Bradley, AMX-40, which is 0.7 higher than it. Type 16 within range of it too. QN, Vextra. It's not like it fights that crazy of stuff. 2S25 is one step higher than it. I would say it's definitely... Chieftain Mark 10 is probably better than the shot call delay. Or is it? And I see, Cole, your question about the 775. This one's not really done. I should have probably put a work in progress tag on it. I kind of just threw it up here. Just vomited the 775 into a spot. And yes, Huss, this is still working with 1.0 up and down tier. And then there's this PTZ-89, which is for some reason, I have it below all of these things. I mean, it does have its limitations compared to those vehicles. It has a crazy reload and a good shell, but other than that... Sky Egg, the shot call delay, this is kind of like a rare premium vehicle. It was a removed premium or like moved over, but you know, it's in both. There is a British shot call delay. And Thought Gaze, I did actually just remove the work in progress tag from Chieftain Mark 10. Are you thinking like it should be lower? Is it the mobility? I feel like the mobility is probably the main thing on Chieftain Mark 10. But you got to remember, it has a crazy turret, good vertical speed, laser, APFSDS, good optics. Mobility, yeah. 279 down tier to 87. We got a thing that can kill it, a thing that can kill it, a thing that can maybe kill it. Things with toes, which it can die to. Things with a laser rangefinder, APDS. I feel like the 279's down tier range is like pretty sane. The up tier range too, like if you put it up higher, then it might fight things that can just absolutely club it, which, you know, to be fair, these are things that it already fights. Stridsvagn 81 has no difference to Cent Mark 3. Yeah, wait until, yeah, the British Stridsvagn 81 with the rockets, missile thingies. Earlier, I believe we were considering moving 279 up because... it is a higher BR than the T55 AMs currently. And you know, I can see the Chieftain Mark 10 going down thing. It also doesn't really fight super, like, helpless things in a down tier. Sort of. What do you guys think about that? Is our boy Thought Gaze coping too much? Let's do a cope check. You would take the T-55 AMs over Chieftain Mark 10? You know, even though I used to not like the Chieftains, I would personally take the Chieftain Mark 10 over these two. Better gun depression, same reload basically, better shell, significantly better shell. Huss, I don't really care about the Leopard and Abrams thingy. The only thing I wish happened is that they did everything at once. That's the only thing I would hope for. And then there's also the T-55M. You know, initially I was like thinking this should be a lower BR than the AMs, especially the AM1 because it has the full composite package. But to be fair, of course, the shell on the M is way better than these two. And it would fight 8.7s in a full down tier, which isn't crazy vehicles. The round makes up for it, you think? They are at the same BR in the main game live server, to be fair. Object 775. I mean, I think I've only had a problem fighting one of these things like once. 10.0, it fights things that are at the same BR as it. Currently. In a full down tier, it's fighting things that might genuinely struggle against it. So I don't think it should go down. I don't know. It's just the way that most 775 players play, and maybe the way that the maps are made. A board dude, whip means work in progress. Means it's not done yet. We're still deciding on it. For example, Object 775 is currently 9.3 and M60 AOS is 8.3. And now they're right next to each other, basically. Like, I know it's really not that great. And then there's also Chrysanthema, which has radar. And it's fighting AOS, which does not fight. You know, Chrysanthema, I don't really think very highly of this vehicle, but I'm going to put it up. Weasel 1A2 should probably go up at least one as well. It should probably be... do you guys think the Weasel 1A2 should be on par with the AFT-09? Probably not, right? Many things to consider. Yeah, I am of the belief that ATGMs suck as well. But for example, it feels good seeing the BMP3 above the Chrysanthema, because like BMP3 is so much more versatile and usable in a variety of situations than Chryz. Would this fix compression? Possibly. It would need to be tried out in the matchmaker, though. I'm just gonna do this. Sturm. Maybe not, though. I felt like the 775 facing the 9.0 stuff was a little rude. Doesn't seem like it fits there very well. VT12. Probably, it can live up there. Rasmus, BMDs are one step above BMP3, and BMP2M is one step above BMDs. And then ZBD is up here, because ZBD is just wild. Sturm versus Mephisto. Oh, Mephisto is definitely better. Okay, let's figure out the 279. I'm thinking it's probably fine. Like, I'm looking at the down tier vehicles right now. The up tier. Final decision. 279 going up or staying where it is? What do we think? I'm pretty torn. There is a high likelihood that it just stays 9.7. It does get clubbed by a lot of APF SDS. It should stay, yeah. This is fair. This is fair. The down tier, yeah, is not bad at all, indeed. And then we have our boys, Threesvong 103C. Is 2 steps above the 103A and 103O. Like, for example, it has crazy optics, by the way. 103 has crazy optics. It is basically unstabilized. It has a 4-second reload, a laser rangefinder, and better survivability. But it is very situational. And in a full down tier, like, for example, it would feel really, really shitty. Like, Leo 1 currently in the game is 8.0, and 103C is 8.7. I think seeing 103C in a full up tier is, like, perfectly fine, and then 103C's full up tier. It's fighting stuff that's a 1 step above it on the live server. I don't know, it doesn't really feel that egregious to me. I think it's fine. If it went down further, then it would just be clubbing things with no rangefinders and bad shells. It doesn't seem like a very terrible placement. M48A, 2GA2, and Magash 5. Hello, Rushy. Yes. I haven't seen you in here before, so yeah, the ZA35, we put it at 9.0, but we are decompressing the whole game to 14.0. If you have things to say about it, I encourage you to look at the vehicles around it, but definitely let me know what you think. M48 A2G A2, though. This says DM23, it's unstabilized, and it's an M48. Same for the Magash 5 over here. Except the 5 has ERA. In a full down tier, it's facing things that can easily pan. I mean, maybe I'm just getting tired, but I don't think there's a huge problem with these two being at 9.0. Connor, I do post the image file. I render it as a PNG into my Sneak Peeks channel on my Discord after the stream. So I will post this one there after. XM800T should be the same level as the Falcon. Now, that's honestly, like, not a bad take. 9.0 in a full up tier, it would start facing T-55 AM1, Chieftain Mark 10, which it does struggle to pen from the side. There's a lot of heavy vehicles that it would struggle to fight against in a full up tier if it went to 9.0. The Falcon, for me, like, XM800T has, you know, better mobility than the Falcon, but the Falcon's rounds are just so much better. So much better. XM800T is good, but I don't know. Anyways, I'm just going to leave these two here. Then there's the other thing to consider is, okay, M48A2GA2 is 8.3 in the game currently, I believe. Same BR as the M60A1 AOS. It has DM23, no stabilizer. AOS has stabilizer, APDS. Should they be the same BR? Because if the GA2 was seeing 10.3s, I mean, it wouldn't really struggle against the 10.3s. A lot of them are stabilized. That's really the problem. No stabilizer is cursed. It is very cursed. To be fair, are these the lowest BR 105 AP FSDS vehicles that I currently have? Yes. And they would be facing the Mouse IS-4M, IS-6, T-54s with a very easy to aim shell. I'm very tempted to move the GA2 and Magash 5 up. Would we say they're on the same capability as a T-55A, even having no stabilizer? The GA2 does not get a laser rangefinder, no. It's probably just a normal rangefinder. Become aligned, freak. That does feel a little better. And then here's the T10M. T10M, APDS, APHE, full stabilizer. No rangefinder, well, no laser. I don't really consider the regular rangefinder as too much of a factor most of the time. If T10M went to 9.3, then it would face Rikai Mark 1D, fully stabilized laser rangefinder, APFSDS havers, very good gun handling havers in some cases, and composite armor begins to show. So, you know, and T10M in a full down tier. I mean, things can pen it. And they're fully stabilized too, quite a few of them. Do you guys think the T10M is really worse than a T55A? Or should they just be on the same, just on par? It has a worse reload and probably worse overall mobility, but slightly better armor. I think it's worse too, because of the reload. The gun handling is probably not better than the T55s. The mobility overall. And the higher it goes, the more it just faces things that are going to decimate it. Teferi, if it was an experiment that Gaijin tried on the live server, that would be cool, but it's definitely a separate conversation from this, because currently I'm working with 1.0 up tier, down tier. Yeah, I agree, Sky Egg. That's why I had it there. So I think we're going to solidify that one. Here's this interesting one. So this ZTZ-59D1. I think the reload is worse than the standard 105, but it does have NATO, like DM23. It has a vertical stabilizer, but no horizontal. T55 mobility. I'm honestly thinking that it should just... And I think it has a laser rangefinder too. There's no reason for this thing to be down there. Let's be honest with ourselves. I don't know why I had it down there. The thing with it is the vertical only stabilizer is kind of cursed, but then again, like DM23, the ERA on the upper front plate is actually like good kinetic ERA. And there's the OF40. Infrared. I mean, OF40 could honestly maybe even go higher. Then it's facing T55 AMD1 again. Chieftain Mark 10, T55M, shot call delay. M60 TTS, term 3. No stabilizer, laser rangefinder APDS. Trolley turret armor. It might just stay down there. I think I'm just going to leave the XM800T right there. T95E1 facing 7.7s. And the OF40 has awesome mobility too, yeah. I could see it maybe going higher. It does not match the Vickers Mark 1. Vickers Mark 1 has a 5-second reload compared to the 7.1 of OF40. It also has fully stabilized. .9.0 sounds appropriate. Because it is at the same BR as things with... It's the only thing with a high-velocity kinetic gun. Well, there's the M41D and a laser rangefinder. Leopard 1 is down here at 8.3. And the main thing I wanted to do was separate OF40 from Leopard 1 because of the laser rangefinder. New ranks if changing BRs this much. I mean, Ray, like the whole rank thing is really just a Gaijin ploy to get you to buy premium tanks and like not be able to research things. Rank really means nothing. Battle rating is the thing that actually is meaningful. So 9.0 sounds more appropriate for the OF40 to 9.85. I mean, I'll put it up there. To be fair, like Mars 15, worse penning shell, 5-second reload, slightly better mobility, but very wobbly. Better penning, but APDS versus APFSDS. Unstabilized, unstabilized, unstabilized. It doesn't make zero sense. But what about Leopard 1 then? I think this was something I was thinking about yesterday. It's like, does Leopard 1 really fit in at 8.3? I don't really see anything that immediately screams at me that it should go higher or lower. I mean, M60, it has way better mobility than M60. Same gun, same shell, I believe. Centurion Mark 10. Same gun, same shell, fully stabilized, but way worse mobility than these two. And it fights a T-32, but to be fair, T-32 can just decimate the armor of the Leo 1. Then I guess that brings into question the M60 itself, like fighting IS-3, Ho reproduction. And Nate, the OF40 MTCA is up here at 11.0. Because this thing is just crazy. Especially, it doesn't have fucking DM33 now. Seems fair. Anyways, let's not forget about our rare friend, the IS-7. Does it really matter to balance it since it's so rare? I guess maybe. Is it shit in the current meta at 8.3? Yeah. It's definitely like someone I think on the last stream was like, how is the IS-7 worse than the T-10M? I'm like, bro, it's unstabilized. I know it has a crazy gun, but it's unstabilized and it's like pretty slow, right? T-10M is probably faster than it. T-10M or IS-7 in a full down tier fighting 7.7s. Is that a problem we should address? A lot of these things have heat FS. Pretty much all of them have heat FS. So it's not that crazy. IS-7 in a full up tier is fighting M60 Rise, which to be fair, IS-7 is 8.3, Rise is 8.7 on live server, so apparently the IS-7 and the Rise are like almost equivalent performance to each other, even though the Rise solos the IS-7. So does the Chieftain, like fully stabilized, high penning shell, thermals, laser rangefinder on some of these things. IS-7 is food for them. I feel like it's placed pretty well. What do we think about Object 120? Like, it's unstabilized. Very stable chassis, though. Really, I'm comparing it in my mind to the T95E1 because they're both unstabilized APFSDS. Object 120 is probably significantly more stable than T95E1, though. And it doesn't have like a 10-second autoloader, consistent 10-second. Just gonna hide this. I kind of don't like how barren 7.3 is, but I guess I'll live with it. It doesn't have much other than the gun going for it, yeah. It'll probably stay there. IKV91, I don't know why I have the work in progress tag on this. I feel like it's fine where it is. It's got, you know, 10 degrees gun depression, good reload, heat FS, laser rangefinder. It's really slow 90mm heat FS. So if you put it higher, it's going to face things that are way better than it, and it might struggle to damage with the low caliber heat. In a full down tier, it's fighting T-32. Currently, it's at 8.0 on the live server. And it would already fight the T-32 in not even a full down tier. Getting it away from 7.0s maybe would be nice. It's probably not the most problematic vehicle. R3T106 I think the T-106 is great, dude. In a full down tier, fighting 7.0s. I mean, it's highly mobile. Has a decent turret traverse from what I remember. 2 guns ready to fire at once, and it can fire fully hull down. They are difficult to aim, though. And in a full up tier, you're fighting things that you already fight with it. So, I mean, I think it could stay. You know what I want to do? I want to go over this list with, like, BPA John or, like, some of the other, like, sweaty or high-skilled CCs and, like, see what they say. Like, do a round table, like, going through the BRs top to bottom with it. See what people say, because there's a lot of vehicles and things to consider here with all this bullshit. Now, the whole mouse E100 IS4M thing, I wanted to move them up from 7.7 because I feel like them fighting 6.7s is pretty wild. Like, there's a lot of 6.7s that are just like, a mouse? Oh, dear God. You know what I mean? And even an IS4M, like with these short 90 mils, you sometimes got, even the long 88 can struggle if an IS4 player is like paying attention. I mean, the American 90 can pen its side, yes, but that means you have to get to its side without it railing you with its 128 or taking your track with the 75. It's not invincible, but it's like, you know, the mouse has to let you kill it. Long 88, it can technically pen the IS4M from the front, but you gotta, like, cheese the damage models, basically. And, like, the 9.0s that it would face is, like, really not a huge thing. So, I mean, like, I might just be trying to wrap this up and feel finished about it, but I feel like that's not the craziest decision to make there. And then there's all of this. Mouse versus M901. Well, you got to remember, Infi, the M901 already faces the mouse. Mouse in the live server is 7.7, and M901 is 8.0, right? Or is it 8.3? Either way, it still fights the mouse. And the IS4M. But now only in a full up tier. These things, the only reason I have the whip tag on it is because I felt like there's gotta be one or two of these vehicles that is better than the other. And maybe they should be higher, or maybe one of the others should be lower. I don't know, though. I mean, pretty much the ones that I'm thinking about is the Samwa SM. Samwa could maybe be 8.3. It would fight things that it already fights. Like Vickers Mark 1 is 8.0. Samwa is 7.7. EBR with the 90 right here. Yeah, you don't see the Alpha 1 much anymore. I kept it here because we placed the 2S19M2, 2S19M1, and it has the same reload as the M1. M1 has better, you know, high explosive shells, to be fair. or little AMX 10M. EBR 1954 with the long 90. It is a 75. And this alongside the Shell F, yes. Shell F, AUF, 2S19M1. I don't know though. I'm probably tempted to just keep all of this shit at the same BR. Just live with it. I think it looks all right. The last thing. Tiger II 105 has a significantly better engine than the regular Tiger II and the 105, which has a longer reload. In a full up tier, it fights M60 Leo 1, which it already fights in a full up tier. I don't know how I really feel about Tiger II 105. But then again, I don't have it, never played it. It was just, there was someone that was saying that it should be a higher BR. And so I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. Is it really clubbing 6.0? We'll leave it, and then we'll say we're done. So I'm going to just call this version 1. This is going to be like, you know, still not finished, but it is in a, it's like early access, you know? And of course I'm going to post it in my Discord. I don't know if I'll really, I might even just keep this here because it's free. There's nothing in the way. Overview top to bottom. You mean like so? Lots of things, lots of tanks. Tanks and things and such. You can also just download this from my Discord server if you want. I'm going to post it into the channel called Sneak Peeks. Definitely not trying to claim that this is the end-all be-all of vehicle rebalancing. But it sure as fuck does feel better than the current state of the game. And we really didn't touch much down here, but a few things. But yeah, if you want to look at it in more detail, it'll be available. How exciting. How exciting. And now I have to get to work on... So I did an initial pass on adding CAS planes to this document so I can make the cards for them. I know some people might say it's like more work than is necessary, but I like the high quality. I like everything being consistent. I like the BR to not be baked into the image because it's more... is less confusing when I do the rebalance thing. So I got to make those cards. Probably not going to make them for literally every aircraft in the game yet. I'm going to do a pass on actual CAS aircraft that people pick first, like things that are actually, you know, effective as CAS. And then we can do a similar sheet to this where we rebalance all the CAS. I'll probably do that thing I said where I shift over, add a new column for just anti-airs and shift over all the anti-airs, and so we can look at the AAs versus CAS that they will face. Reddit would do Reddit things on this for sure. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to post this on Reddit at some point. In what, 11 hours? Yeah, exactly. 3 live streams of no more than 4 hours length. What if I just post, even though it's like not done and I'm not like, let's see, I would say I'm 93.6% satisfied with this whole list. There are some things that I have questions about that I might want to revisit, but overall, it's like we're almost there. So and I am totally, I'm going to love all the hate coming from Reddit. There's going to be some posts where they don't read that this is not finished and that I'm not done deciding where everything goes yet, and that we are not done. And then they're just going to be like, why the fuck is the Ariete AMV here? Or why the fuck is the T90M not the same as the BVM? Or why the fuck, you know, all these little things. I'm so ready for it. I want to see what they have to say. You know? But I just wish that people would read. It's wishful thinking. And understand that it's not finished. And that I would love to hear their opinion. And they don't have to be angry about it. Yeah, Thought Gaze. I do agree. I legit, like, after seeing what we've done now, I do believe that having 15.0 would actually be reasonable. Like, not even kidding. After doing all of this, I can now say that I think a higher BR would benefit the game still. Because there are some places where it's like, some work could be done. Dude, Michael, dude, thanks. My friend. The POV from the neighbor's tree cam is pretty wild. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate you. Maybe I should just go for it and post it on Reddit. Just fucking unzip, flop it on the table. Flop it onto their feed. And I'll rage bait it too, and I'll be like, look guys, I rebalanced the game and I'm totally done with it. Nothing's gonna be changed. Like, for example, I'm still like, this Abrams issue is still like rattling my brain because Gen 2 Thermals Commander Gunner, slightly higher gunner sight zoom. They all have the same shell. No commander sight Gen 1 thermals. Commander sight Gen 1 thermals. This would not be the craziest move in the world. And I know someone's going to say it. Yeah, exactly, Thought Gaze. I was thinking that too. Like, that's the reason that I moved some of these 20mm things. Because, dude, they're just like, they bully the fuck out of so many vehicles in this BR. They should be higher, and then a bunch of other stuff should probably change too, but I don't really play low tier as much as I do higher tiers, so it's kind of difficult for me to just, like, intuitively say what needs to be changed, like I could up here. Teferi, yeah. Leaked upcoming balance changes. Yeah, 15.0 is probably quite a valid take. And yes, I have played the Kachi. So, let's see how big this file is going to be. 2320 by 14,000. 18 megabytes PNG. I'll just save it as a V3. Save the other ones just so we can look at them later, I guess. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah, Mr. Featural, I do not hate low tier, but I just don't really play it that much. It is a goofy, fun time. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Ugh, time to post it on Reddit and watch the flames rise. See you all later. Yeah, Infi, if you want to grab the image, I'm going to post it in my Discord Sneak Peeks channel. You just got to download it, like save it from Discord. Don't try to open it or open the website. It'll just be fucking pixelated. Bye. Bye, everybody.